Hi there, Neil here, the Twisted Light Worker, with the final closing video for the series, Putting on the Armor of God. If you've been following this series, you will easily see that it is much more than a quiet prayer and a simple thought, or reading a few words in Scripture. It's a discipline. It's an act. It's a practice. Putting on the armor of God is giving you the strength to become the warrior spirit. Every next level of your life will demand a different version of you. Yeah. Every level of your life will demand a different version of you. And as you can see, I'm Twisted Light Worker, a different version of you. I'm getting close to needing a haircut. The warrior. The warrior is willing to face the darkness. Any fool can run towards the light. Putting on the armor of God gives you the courage to face the darkness with strength and peace at the same time. A true master will face their own darkness and shine the light of consciousness there. Yeah, see, putting on the armor of God really is a practice. It's a discipline. It's much more than what you think on the surface. It's creating a warrior spirit in yourself. It's that changing that different version of you into ready to take on the world and take the next step in your life. The power of the imagination, you see, makes us infinite. The power of the infinite makes us imaginative. It works both ways. The power of the imagination makes us infinite. Going back to the other videos where I showed you the circle which is unlimited potential. The whole universe is made up of a field of vibrations of unlimited potential. It takes imagination to choose which path you're going to take. If you follow every one of these videos, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. So I encourage you, if you haven't watched any of the others, to check them out. I'll put the link down below of all of the other videos in this series. But the power of the imagination, yes, it does. It makes us infinite. And the power of the infinite makes us imaginative. It truly works both ways. So a warrior will notice that people act at you with an expectation that you will react in a certain way. But a warrior has done enough stalking maneuvers and controlled folly never to react according to expectation. Expectations can get you in trouble. That transforms mere reaction into an act to awaken. Yeah, that goes right back to shaking trees and hugging trees can both be done with the same compassion. See, a warrior putting on the armor of God, a man or a woman standing in their power with the armor of God, is not afraid to shake a tree. They won't hurt anybody, they won't knock them down, but they shake them because that stretches people out of their comfort zone. And they do it with love and compassion. They do it with love and compassion. So think that verse again. People act at you with the expectation that you will react in a certain way. It's a whole lot of fun reacting in a different way when you're cognizant of what they're up to. If you have, like he said, practiced different maneuvers and stalking, that means paying attention to what's happening to you and around you. And when things come at you, when you're standing with the armor of God on, your warrior spirit will shake a tree or hug a tree, depending on what's required at that moment. There's always a strategy in mind. There's always a strategy in mind. It's fun. Life is a gas. Life is a gas. And putting on the armor of God makes life even more fun. Absolutely makes it a whole lot more fun. Whole lot more fun. See, the warrior seeks balance in all things, circumstances and conditions. That is the way of the warrior. Some call it making peace with the world, with the dream of the world. Call it whatever you may. Nevertheless, the warrior stands strong. No longer can the dream of the world affect us in the same way. It can no longer hurt or harm us. The scars are no longer there. They are barely even a memory, even though those circumstances might have occurred just moments ago. We are no longer eaten up by those conditions. Rather, we are the healer, the providers, and the nurturers without the need for a return. So putting on the armor of God gives us the ability to be very effective in this world. Very effective. And we'll make mistakes. Absolutely, we'll trip and fall, but we'll always get up. We'll always get up, because just like Roosevelt said in a previous video, we'll always get up one more time than we get knocked down. And so all of that brings us to a different kind of confidence. The self-confidence of the warrior is not the self-confidence of the average man. The average man seeks certainty in the eyes of the onlooker and calls that self-confidence. The warrior seeks impeccability in his own eyes and calls that humbleness. The average man is hooked to the fellow man, while the warrior is hooked only to infinity. Like I said, the power of imagination makes us infinite, and the power of the infinite makes us imaginative. It works both ways. I'm going to read this again because it's powerful. When you stand with the armor of God on, you are the warrior. You are truly the warrior. And the self-confidence of the warrior is not the self-confidence of the average man. The average man seeks certainty in the eyes of the onlooker and calls that self-confidence. The warrior seeks impeccability in his own eyes. Yeah, seeks impeccability in his own eyes and calls that humbleness. The average man is hooked to the fellow men, while the warrior is hooked only to infinity. As you can see, putting on the armor of God gives you a different kind of power. One that makes it easy to stand in your own power. And when you remember all of the things that we've covered in the previous videos on this series, how everything is in a state of vibration, metaphysically, everything is in vibration, everything is in motion. Every minute of every day you have a million options of what you can do with the next 60 seconds. You may choose to only focus on what you're doing, but the options are still there. Putting on the armor of God keeps you conscious of being conscious. Yes, you become more conscious of being conscious. So therefore, every act that you do, you'll do it deliberately and with certainty in your mind. And that gives you a different kind of power. And that's the armor of God. That's truly what the armor of God's all about. It's definitely a whole lot more than a scripture reading and a quiet prayer. It's standing in your power. It's taking charge. It's taking charge of who you are. It's taking charge of the steps that you make in your life. It's taking charge of cleaning up the mistakes that you make. It's taking charge of making that next step. It's taking charge. And it's hilarious because it's so simple to fool people into believing a lie, but it's next to impossible to get people to believe in a truth that goes against the lie that they've been trained or fooled into believing. That quote really fits the world as it is today. Definitely. But when you have the armor of God on, when you put it on and you're standing in your warrior spirit with confidence, you're standing with power, recognizing that you are loved beyond human understanding, every single cell of your body having that spark of the divine in it, and you're standing there consciously being conscious about that, and conscious about making that next step that you do deliberately, no matter how trivial it is, that is putting on the armor of God. That is developing the warrior spirit. That is the new version of you. That is the new version of you. See, darkness has no power when it comes up against light. The power of a light from one small big lighter can be seen by all 500,000 people in a dark stadium. You cannot go into a well-lit room and turn on a dark switch. You have to pinch off the light. That's important to recognize. When you have the armor of God on, that becomes extremely obvious all the time. You shine your light on the darkest parts of your own personality and bring light to it. Become more powerful, more confident. Developing that virtue that you see in another that you wish that you had. Magnifying the virtues that you already have. And slowly working on eliminating any of the follies that you have in your character. That's all putting on the armor of God. So don't let fear nor anger diminish the light that you carry. Shine it with all the confidence in the world, knowing that when you shine your light, others will remember they too can shine theirs. They too can shine theirs. So I'm going to say that again because it's important to remember. It really fits in this whole talk with the armor of God. You're confident, you're standing in your power. You're aware of the vibrations of your thoughts and how they can influence the field of the universe around you, the ether. So darkness has no power when it comes up against light. The power of the light from one small big lighter can be seen by all 500,000 people in a dark stadium. You cannot go into a well-lighted room and turn on a dark switch. You have to pinch off the light. So don't let fear nor anger diminish the light that you carry. Shine it with all the confidence in the world, knowing when you shine your light, others realize and remember that they too can shine theirs. The armor of God is powerful, and it makes you powerful. It takes discipline to shut the ego mind off so that we can hear the wee small voice within that gives us direction. It takes discipline and practice to shut down the ego's chatter, to shut it down completely. And when you do, the warrior spirit builds you. So at first, you have to build the warrior spirit, the connection to it, the connection to that divine that's in every cell of your body, the connection to that divine that's part of everything that is, part of the whole field of unlimited potential. Yeah, the armor of God is so much more than what people first think it is. As you remember, I've shared this a couple times, and it's worthwhile putting in for this final video on the Armour of God series. When we shift our energy from fear to power with compassion, we will find we are always loved beyond human understanding. It takes willpower to get the ego out of the way and silenced. It's not a passive act. Action with the power of intent will stop the ego's chatter and lead you to freedom. Welcome to the discipline of awakening. Welcome to putting on the armor of God, knowing full well what it really means. Magnifying your power, becoming more than you even dreamed possible of becoming. With the armor of God, all things are possible. John 14, 10 through 12. So I thank you for following this whole series and coming with me on this journey of understanding the armor of God in a way that few people ever comprehend it. I hope it helps you. I hope it makes your life more powerful, loving, imaginative, and compassionate. It has a potential of all the above. So thank you again for the coffees. Some of you have bought more than one coffee. Oh my God, that makes me really feel blessed. Thank you for that. And I'm going to leave this series as I end them all, truly, with all my heart. I wish you peace. I wish you peace profound. I wish you peace profound.